Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. Sorry about that. There are a couple of new faces at the table. I don't think it'll take forever to enter everybody, so we'll just focus on you, Andrew.
Indeed.
Say hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me and enjoyed my week so far, survived.
Just
Made it.
explain what we are and what your job
Yeah.
is,
So,
please.
new legal services manager and deputy monitoring officer. So, lots of fun. So, yeah, been getting to know the team and all the different things that as a district we do and seeing what we can do to improve how we work in legal. So, yeah, it's
Thank you, Andrew, and welcome.
thank you.
That's great. I don't know if SJ is it that want to, Victoria, just, back, we.
Thanking me, that's what.
Yes, I'm Sarah Jane. I'm Business Improvement Coordinator for Leisure, so I'm just here to feedback in place of Chris Mills on one of the items on the agenda.
That's lovely, thank you. Right, item one, any apologies? I think we're all here. Right, we'll have to get a bigger room. It's not all fit in. Any declarations of interest? No. Any from the minutes of the last meeting? I ain't got them up in front of me and I've not printed them up, so I take, are we all happy with those?
Yes, Chair, in the medium-term financial plan, I rent a property from Ricknold. That's in there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Any urgent items? No, and right, we'll go on to item 5, the community scrutiny review on leisure activities for older children, teenagers. That's probably not appropriate, is it? But crack on.
Thank you. For anyone who's not met me, I'm Councillor Michael Durant. I'm Councillor for Grasmore and I'm the chair of the Community Scrutiny Committee. So today you'll have seen in your agenda pack that we, in your cabinet briefing notes, there's a review on leisure activities for children, which was part of the Community Scrutiny Committee. We had the Leisure Centre team from Killamarsh visit us last year and give a presentation in this Community Scrutiny Committee. And as part of that, there was a number of areas that we felt that we could have a look into, which we've since looked into, and the document for the review of the leisure centres for older children / teenagers is the outcome of that. In brief, you can see the recommendations here, which is 1, to review the fees and charges around young person activities to ensure activities are inclusive and accessible for all young people, reporting the outcome to the committee. Increase the offering to open up the membership to allow access to more activities such as Tag Active, Top Play, or access to other fitness classes. Increase engagement with older children and teenagers. This includes targeting non-users as well as current users by way of questionnaire, survey, out schools within the district, and by using social media, reporting the outcome back to the committee. And then targeted promotion of the activities we have on offer to children, specifically older children and teenagers. Encourage young people to engage with the sports and leisure activities, not just within our leisure centres, but outside the leisure centres, such as Extreme Wheels, something we operate in the district, climbing walls, outdoor sports such as football and running. So the details of this are all in the report. This has come out because of the excellent presentation we had from the team that came over from Killamarsh. And you can see the details of that in the report. However, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Marco. Yeah, we've got the report. That's brilliant. So obviously, you've done a lot of work there. I know we have been looking at this, haven't we, through the oh, sorry, and over to you.
That's all right. All right. Right. First of all, I'd like to thank Councillor Durant and the committee for their work on this review. We provide many services to our young people, from toddlers to teens, along with the targeted sessions for those with additional needs. It was good to see the committee was impressed with the number of activities for young people, and the attitude, commitment and care of all the staff. The committee made good recommendations which have already led to changes in service delivery and will shape the future delivery. I'd like to hand over to Sarah Jane, our Business Improvement Coordinator, to give a brief overview of what has been done to date.
Thank you, councillor. So on the first recommendation regarding fees and charges around young persons' activities, our annual review of fees and charges was undertaken back in November 2024 and has been implemented since the 1st of January this year. As part of this process, we undertook a competitor analysis to see what our competitors were charging and found that our pay and play prices remain competitive and affordable to young children. During this review, we looked at our concessionary membership scheme, which has also been reviewed, and we have actually reduced the prices to support children whose parents are entitled to the concessionary membership. This is a 40% reduction, which is applied to pay and play pricing for children's activities, and it also includes our junior membership. The admin fee, which was previously in place to this scheme, has been removed for children and young people. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have the figures that we can report back on with that to show what a difference that pricing has had. The next recommendation, so to increase the offering to open up the membership. I'm pleased to say that from April 2025, both soft play at all centres that have it and Tag Active will be included as part of the junior membership package, so increasing that offer to youngsters in our area. A marketing campaign is being prepared alongside comms and our partners at TA6 to highlight these new additions, targeting the group specifically who will benefit from them. And the team at Claycross Active are currently looking at their fitness class provision and looking at what opportunities they can provide for young people's fitness classes from that centre. In regards to the increased engagement with older children and teenagers, we are undertaking a survey in April 2025, which is going to involve working with local schools, Chesterfield College, and also our internal membership base, just to gain their views and opinions. We're currently considering that survey and it's in draft form with comms. The feedback gained will help us support with providing future activities and programmes to suit young people across the district. So not just at Claycross Active, but across all of our centres. In regards to targeting promotion of the activities we have on offer, this is done via social media channel, and we also have launched quite recently a new Instagram channel, which we're looking at tagging youngsters and local sort of provisions in there for them. Similar to the case studies, you might have seen that we do for our health referral scheme. We are looking at doing one similar with a younger person who's been using our junior gyms at the various centres and focusing on how these sessions have helped to improve their self-esteem, confidence, develop social skills, etc. We'd like to put this in the news, but also we want to primarily focus that on social media channels, encouraging people to like and share it. So hopefully getting some buy-in through that. We've also launching our app this year, which is allowing us to send push notifications to certain age groups. So if we've got something like the new classes and people are signed up to that, then we can send those notifications specifically to that audience. So it's not getting lost in the general message. And then finally, we're going to continue to use targeted promotions throughout the year, as highlighted in our marketing plan. We've had really good success at the moment with Google Ads and using social media search engines to increase our engagement with young people. So as we uncover more about that, that's something we're looking to push even further this year. And then finally, in regards to helping to support people outside the leisure centres, we've partnered with quite a few local groups to put on specific promotions. This includes local partners such as the Kenning Park Forest School and the Children's Centre provision, looking at how we can support Duke of Edinburgh Awards out in the community, and also promotion of sports clubs in the community and those that also deliver out of our centre. We've also got a development pathway, whereas children who are in our centres, if they show any sort of sporting talent or any desire to take sport further, then we are signposting them out to appropriate activities in the community alongside working with the clubs. We're also working alongside our comms team to look at programming a wider promotion which links to the 7 skate parks, 5 multi-use games areas and the 25 playing pitches we've got across our district, and explaining in more detail how they can be accessed for people who might not be aware.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions to Michael or EJ? Is that
Thanks, AJ.
AJ.
That's anything.
AJ? That's somebody else. Well, that sounds brilliant. I think we've ticked a lot of them boxes already, but it is something that we're obviously keen on, aren't we, as an authority to encourage any sort of sporting activity and especially teenagers.
Yeah.
Do you want to say on that?
No, just, just an observation that actually it's a really good use of scrutiny.
Yeah,
In line with council plan, looking at the right things, making recommendations, and then genuine service improvement that follows. I think it was well. Leisure staff felt welcomed by it, felt encouraged in terms of the suggestions that came forward. They were hitting on all the right buttons and things that we were able to improve. So no, system works, doesn't it?
yeah, that's the idea of scrutiny. It's told things to account, but also to offer help and suggestions and make things better.
I think it is worth saying in regards to the leisure staff, when they did come and present to our scrutiny, just to follow on from what Councillor Rouse said, is that normally we have allocated about 20 minutes for a presentation and it went well over 40 minutes, but that wasn't any time wasted. We were quite frankly blown away by the quality on offer by the Killamarsh staff, and that'll hopefully remain the same once Claycross opens. It was the concern particularly around teenagers that we're hoping that we can continue to offer that because of antisocial behaviour and ensuring that kids that age have somewhere to go. But it was particularly, and just to pass my thanks again on to the staff, that they did such an amazing job that has led to these further recommendations and that excellent conversation we had within scrutiny with them.
Yeah, thanks, Marshall. That's great.
Thank you very much.
And it is a priority. I don't know if you want to say out, Lee, because I know it's your passion, the sort of leisure.
Well, it is. It always has been. But I mean, clearly, these guys who are Matt and Chris and SJ, who's here today, are the ones who are directly involved with it nowadays, and they took it to another level, if I'm honest. And the only thing I would add is, outside of this context for our organisation, it's difficult to compare because we're looking at one service. When you're in the position we're in, when we meet with a lot of people and are networked across the country, you realise how good our service is. You might say I would say that, but genuinely, we've been leading the way for years. And we're stretching, that lead is stretching further and further. Really good to hear what SJ said. I didn't know what were coming in advance, but I have no doubt that whatever you were going to say, we're going to be good.
Just on one last note before I stop taking up your time, SJ, on the details that you've mentioned, some of the teen survey in April, will that be able to be fed back to the scrutiny committee? And if I could email you about the case study with the young person and ask for that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marshall. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You want to stay?
I'll
If you wish.
I can disappear now.
No, you're welcome to stay, man.
No, I'll stop talking. You want me doing that? Thank you very much for your time.
Bye.
Thank you, Marshall. Well done.
See you Monday.
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Item 6, medium-term financial plan.
Council.
Well, 24 up to 29. Over to you, Pat.
Today, I am presenting the medium-term financial plan for the current year's budget, along with the original budget of 25-26 and planning budgets for the following 3 years. There are no major changes to the current budget. Early indications from Q3 monitoring show that we are making good progress in identifying some of the savings needed to meet the 644,000 shortfall reported in the revised estimates, and we will report progress to the Cabinet next month. First, we'll turn to the general fund. I'd like to start by saying it's been a challenging budget cycle because of the high levels of uncertainty around the national plans and reforms. The long-awaited funding reforms have now been promised for the 26-27 budget cycle, but there are little details available yet. In addition, there are the waste reforms, the planning reforms, devolution of local government reorganisation. This means, other than the 25-26 budget, the remainder of the plan contains high levels of uncertainty and is subject to significant change as the reforms progress. For the 25-26 budget, the main points to note are: the draft financial settlement was released on the 16th of December. It was a significant redistribution of grants to higher need and more deprived areas, and the new grant introduced to fund this is known as the recovery grant. We will receive a small allocation, about £203,000 in 2025. The funding guarantee grant introduced last year for 2 years remains, but the threshold will have been reduced to nil. We won't be receiving an allocation for 25-26, so lose 389,000 in grant. The new homes bonus continues for another year. Our grant was similar to the previous years at 743,000. Separate to the settlements that we have received income from DEFRA for the extended producer repackaging scheme. This is part of a simpler recycling waste reforms, but at this point, DEFRA have not confirmed these payments will continue beyond 2025. 25-26, the gap before any council tax increase is 505,000. Should the council tax increase of 2.99% as recommended in the report to council be approved, this will reduce the deficit to 295,000. Based on our track record, we are confident that the savings will be achieved during the year. Main growth item in the plan is pay. The impact of the impact in 2025 is 890,000, which includes 497,000 for changes to the national insurance contributions. We estimate that we will receive contributions from the government towards this of 145,000. This has at this stage only been committed for 1 year. From 27 to 28, the budget pressures increase, mainly because of the uncertainty surrounding the national funding and reforms. Table 1 in the report shows how volatile this is and how difficult it makes forecasting in future plans. Our level of reserves does mean that we have a reasonable period in which to meet short-term uncertainties should it be necessary. The main point to note of the HRA is the pressure created from the new regulations. We are working closely with Recknold and continue to provide high-quality housing services for our tenants that also meet the expectations of the social housing regulator, but the costs of delivering are growing. All additional costs known to us at this time have been included in the budget. As you will be aware, all the new inspection regime went live on the 1st of April. We were inspected in May this year and awarded a C2 grade. We are now working with Recknold, who played a key role throughout to deliver the improvements identified during this inspection. Recknold have already started working on many of these prior to the inspection, and our shared aim is to achieve C1 in the next 18 months. Having taken into consideration the budget pressures, the impact on the tenants, and the rent standard, which allows rent increases up to 2.7% next year, the annual rent increase we are recommending to the council this year is 2.7%. And finally, the capital programme. The main points to note are the Town Deal project continues into 2025 when they are scheduled to complete. The HRA capital budget totals £84 million over the 4-year programme. The budget includes the cost of physically inspecting all properties over the next 2 years to attain an accurate stock condition data as required by the Building and Safety Consumer Standards. It also includes the annual fee paid to Riddle Housing for delivering all HRA capital works, bracket 1.1 million. I'm happy to take any questions, and my finger, like yours, should be licked and put up in the air for years after next year.
You'll lick your own.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks for that. Are there any questions to Pat? Do you want to add anything, Jane, or?
No, but Councillor Perry's covered that very eloquently. The only point I will make is that 2 points. Table 1 that Councillor Kerry highlighted just shows how difficult it is to forecast beyond 25-26. You know, that's the only year we've got any certainty for. After that, I'm having to do a fair bit of forecasting, and as Councillor Kerry quite rightly said, it's a little bit of a finger in the air. But I've built the budget on a prudent basis. I think that's the right thing to do. But what Table 1 does is shows some of the things that may well come into play should forecasts and things go as we expect them to go. But at this stage, they're too uncertain to build into the budget. The only other point I'll make just briefly is that we're constantly having to make efficiencies just to stand still. So over the past 3 budgets, we've had to build over £3 million in just to cover the pay increases. That's just pay inflation before we start with all the other inflationary pressures. So when it looks like we're not making efficiencies, we're having to make an awful lot of efficiencies year on year just to stay where we are. And then when we do get funding cuts, like Councillor Kerry highlighted there, the 200,000 that we've lost in grants next year, that's another pressure on top of what we're already finding. So there's a lot of room to stand still, but we're keeping our heads above water. We're in a good position. We really need to wait and see what the funding settlement looks like next year, and then we'll be able to forecast with a lot more certainty for the next few years.
Thank you, Jane. And I know that you've took this to various committees, the joint scrutiny and audit and other things. So have you moved the recommendations, Pat?
Yes, I'll move the recommendations,
1 to 13.
13 in total.
I'll second those. That takes in the council tax and the rent increase. So they've moved and seconded. Are we all in favour of what's been proposed? Thank you, Jane,
Thank you.
for your efforts with that. Thank you, everybody. Right, we'll move on to the housing strategy.
That's me too. Finance and houses.
Okay.
Just before we, because I'm scrolling down, I've got it now. Obviously, never got my glossy frost.
Come in.
It's coming. I wanted to wave over there.
We had to start, well, Lee jumped on the same bandwagon.
It's Lee's fault.
What's that? Sorry, I was distracted.
I wanted my glossy brochure, the housing strategy.
Oh,
Yeah, coming out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them here.
Where are they going though?
what do you do with my housing strategy? That's
Well,
a
we
bit
thought we
worrying.
could dig out, seems you haven't printed any out.
I'm also in charge of comms, and digital is our driver. So what can I
Nigel, that's
say?
your messenger.
I wanted to, I've read them on
What can I
here.
say?
Jane, it's already happening.
The next
I'll
Well,
just put on.
Obviously a lot of work gone into these strategies. And there's obviously the housing strategy and the private sector housing strategy. Which, well, we'll do housing strategy first, which is brilliant because that's about, I think it's most ambitious ever, I think, Jane, that we've put together. There's been a lot of work gone in the background on this. And it is a really good document when you look at it. And I get what you're saying, Jane, we can't be printing millions of these off, but it's on it'll be on the website, not the social media channels and everything like that. And I think that there's been consultations around it, and I think we wanted to identify the homes that North East Derbyshire needs. And we wanted opportunities for people to live independently. I think there were a thing in there, I'm not going in front of me, but that no one's forgotten and no one's left behind, sort of thing. So we're trying to build all that into the strategy. And having the conversations I've had with Jane and others is, it's not just a document to put on a shelf. It's a living thing and it's got to make a difference. That's the point of it, of having a strategy, that we make a difference to people, and we've got a vision for where we want to be in the future. So thank you for that. And basically, we're just approving it, I think, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I'll move that whatever it is. To agree and adopt the private, no, that's the private sector one, but the other one. The housing,
Same one, Nigel.
Yeah.
Agree and adopt.
housing strategy, yeah? Are we happy
Yeah.
with that?
Yep.
Thank you. And similarly with the private sector housing strategy, which again is another big document. It's in support of the overarching housing strategy, because we've also it sets out the detailed plans of both home ownership and private rented. Because obviously there's different tenures within housing that we need to be aware of. And if we can influence private rented and the thingy, that home ownership, what North East Derbyshire will look like for housing and the quality of housing and stuff like that. So we're hoping to improve property management standards, I think, within the private sector, which again is a big issue. I know nationally that the private rented sector is an issue around the country, isn't it?
Mhm.
We've got not masses of private rented, but we've got some. So we want to improve that quality of the private rented, and we also want to influence the housing standards that are being built in the district. And also, I think it's not just houses, it's neighbourhoods and street scene and all that sort of stuff. So we want to try and ensure that that's, so I think the term is place shaping and making sure that our district is a good place to live. So again, a great piece of work, and I thank everybody that's been involved in it, because it's been a big project. I don't know how long it's been in the making, Jane, quite a long while. So I don't know if you want to comment on any of that.
No, thank you, Chair. You've hit all the key points, but you know how important both of these strategies are for us. The private sector strategy is the first time we've actually done one, and we found that a really, really insightful piece of work. Housing strategy, we've looked at some of the areas of need across the district, and we've looked at some of the pressures that we're facing as a district in terms of our housing supply. We've worked with David and his team in terms of producing this strategy, so it's been a real collaboration. And I'd just like to thank especially Lee and Di and the team for all the effort that they put into it. It's been a really good piece of work.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I'll move the recommendations to agree and adopt the private sector housing strategy for implementation. We all in favour of that?
Yep.
Thank you, and well done to everybody involved. Thank you. We'll move on to item 9, Derbyshire County Council, preparation of consultation draft local nature recovery strategy. Steve.
Thank you, Chair. Just a bit of background, as it says in your papers, the local nature recovery strategies are a new system of plans for nature and environment across England, and Derbyshire County Council is responsible for doing that, and it covers North East Derbyshire District and to become a statutory plan. And so we're consulted within that. This is a pre-consultation draft prior to a public consultation, Chair. And turn over another page. The consultation will note the current situation regarding biodiversity, and it'll hopefully identify priorities and propose broad actions going forward for protecting and improving that biodiversity. I'll invite David to go into some of the technical detail of it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, councillor. So really this, the local nature recovery strategy, they're being produced nationwide, and as councillor Pickering has said, in Derbyshire County is the responsible body. We, along with all the other districts and boroughs in the city, are a statutory consultee in that process. So there's kind of been informal engagement at an officer level. There's already been some public consultation happened at the back end of last year. And then, as Steve mentioned, there will be a formal consultation on the draft plan in February and March, and we'll be communicating that, using our communication channels to promote those events. But the purpose really is to set that regional vision for what biodiversity, well, the current state of biodiversity, and then broad actions to improve it. And this all links to the Environment Act and the requirement to enhance biodiversity generally. It also links with, but is separate to, our district level work. So at the moment, we've commissioned the Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, and we're developing a plan for nature for our district. And there are other such plan for nature in districts and boroughs across Derbyshire. So one of the comments in the report, one of the things that we will feed back to the county, is it would be good to specifically reference existing and emerging district level strategies within the report, because there is obviously a clear synergy, and the actions within district level plans are obviously going to be those that, you know, for us, we're doing a call for sites for biodiversity offsetting, for example. Those sites will clearly need to marry with the principles that are being talked about in the county-wide document. So to be honest, that's probably the main bit of feedback that we're going to be giving, or that's the recommendation anyway. Not to object, but to raise that point. And then just to confirm what is referred to in the report around working with Derbyshire Wildlife Trust in relation to the draft document and how that affects North East. And effectively, they don't have any concerns as kind of the real experts in this field. And they have made some points which will be fed through the consultation process, but really it's about the how the mapping is effectively going to work. It's not about the principles of what is being proposed, or, you know, anything in terms of the vision for it. So essentially the recommendation is not to raise any objections at this stage. There will be opportunities for us to feed into the process later on. The aim of the county council is to have something adopted around about summer this year, so that there are further processes to go through after the formal consultation. But at this stage, it's basically to raise no objections, because fundamentally this is not out of alignment with the work we're doing at a district level. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, David. Anybody got any questions, comments? Just a comment, really. I mean, it's a lot of work in that. I think you said lots. I think it's admirable. I think it's something. I think local nature recovery is something we all want, and biodiversity and all that sort of stuff. But it's, I think, harder to achieve. It's easy to say, but not as easy to achieve alongside all the other stuff that we need to do.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it is definitely about trying to make different strategies marry up.
Yeah.
You know, what the county-wide strategy has a purpose, but the reality is it's going to be the local plans, and not least the local plan, and how the you know, development targets fit in with all of this, and making sure that it all marries up is quite challenging.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say, David, but you want to move the recommendation?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I mean, it is. I don't think it's I don't think it's too contentious really though, and it's, you know, we're both going down the same
Yeah.
route.
Yeah, correct.
Need to work together on it, and as David said, we're contracted with Derbyshire Wildlife Trust already. So we're in with that game of our, you know, environmental strategy. So with that, Chair, I'll move the recommendations. One that notes that we the update on the preparation of it that's been presented, and that we agree to raise no objections with Derbyshire County Council about the points A and B in the paper.
I'll take that. We're all in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, David. And that's it, I believe. There's no extra bits when I've got to read all that stuff out.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. I just like doing all the,
Sorry, Chair, something's just come into me.
hey, oh, well, you can't bring, it's not on the agenda.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to ask David, these areas that are coming to our area, like the Coalfield thing, drafts all over the place and picking up Ilkeston, etc., along even down the bottom.
Yeah.
Is the liaison with their local districts to sort of look at what their proposals in this area might be to sort of marry with ours? Is that, you know, between districts rather than just, sorry, I'm saying just with the county council? The bottom end of this, the Coalfield bit that we're playing with comes into whether it is South.
Yeah,
Derbyshire, and Derbyshire Dales.
Yeah, that's right. So they're kind of national character areas. It's a fair point in that so Bolsover, for example,
Yeah.
have their own recovery strategy. I think, and obviously I'm biased around what ours is going to do. I think ours is hopefully going to be quite focused on biodiversity offsetting. So I think it's going to be quite specific in its aims in terms of trying to deal with the issue of large development sites where the applicant can demonstrate that they can't meet their 10% biodiversity net gain requirement on site, that we have offsetting sites within the district. So there's a selfish element to that. There's probably an argument to say, well, why are we running on that level? But then I think from our perspective, it makes development more sustainable if we are offsetting those impacts within the district. So, and that's quite a large part of the piece of the work that we're doing. There will be that slightly broader, aspirational element to the district level. And for that, you certainly could say, it'd be worth marrying all of that up with other districts. And I guess if it works effectively, that's why there is this overarching local nature recovery strategy for Derbyshire.
Yeah.
The idea being that they are
The Derbyshire plan should pull those bits together.
Yeah, the key though is making sure that it does.
Yeah.
And that you don't have that kind of too local a focus.
Yeah.
And there's a big gap then between that and the strategic.
I think it's just to piggyback on back of that though, I think it's fair to say going through this process, districts are connected because
Yes.
it's part of a group.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not that you haven't got sight to each other's in that sense, because it's kind of being done together.
Yeah.
Officers.
Working together anyway.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thanks, David. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Oh, and just before we finish, at the start time of this meeting, we said we revisited.
Yeah.
We did say at one meeting that we'd been forward to 2 o'clock.
I thought we'd said that. I've thought my little head had
And
got
then
blown when we went over
Amy-
today.
Set this
Gone
up
again.
for 4 o'clock and then saw a note on the desk to say that it
Well,
2 o'clock.
I thought we were discussing next year.
Right.
So we were discussing moving to 6 weekly, and then you said to move them to 2 o'clock, but then I didn't ask the question about the meetings in between now and then. So it's up to you. If you want to move them to 2, I can do that from now on.
It caused a problem for Steve today, I think, because you'd set around 2 o'clock, hadn't you? So, but I'm not, I think it was my idea to bring it forward because we spent time about till 4
Yeah.
o'clock. I know it creates a problem if James working or whatever. I don't mind. What do you think?
I might have to bring my granddaughter over if I pick her up from school at 2.
So 4 suits you better.
Not desperately, no.
I
I can get over it.
Shall we leave it to
She'll
4
get
then?
me. Tell
For
every-
this year, and then the next municipal year. It's
May.
in diaries for 4 o'clock. It's in that little diary.
Yeah.
Is that all right? Does that suit everybody?
Don't bother us.
Where are you anyway, Sam?
We can, I mean, coming off.
Blaming overtime, right, any time?
No, we don't go. You're here doing notes anyway, aren't you?
I will look in to get it in the calendar next year, the year after, in the next
So from
municipal
May,
year,
yeah, some from May too.
May.
the 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's made a decision. Thank you.
I'd offer another option. Do you want Thursday still?
Oh, I am.
Or next year.
Been on that.
Thursday tea time. Bring your sign.
Thursday afternoon is my non-working day.
Thursday's fine, that's right. Thursday's fine.
If we don't have it on Thursday, we're gonna have to move some meetings
Yeah, just,
other times.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just to be clear, so up until May, as in the schedule for
That's it, Amy.
Thursdays,
Yeah, I
from
think-
May, 2 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yes.
I'm clear.
Spot on, Ava.
Thank you.